Hey, what's up, everyone? This is Chris Henderson, aka C Hendo, back once again. Be sure to hit that like and subscribe button. Now, everyone knows me for doing sports and doing certain things, but this is special. You see the background. You see the background, right? You know what we got to talk about today. I have a special guest, Noveen Crumbie, in the building. How you doing, Noveen?
Hello, I'm good. Thanks for having me here. I'm excited.
You know I'm excited. So first off, ironically, I post this video on YouTube to do a reaction, which we'll get to the game. But out of nowhere, I receive a message, and I had to see this twice. I literally responded in seconds, and it's the voice actress of this character, Layla Ellison. That's amazing.
Thank you.
I really appreciate this.
Of course, yeah.
So I did a little research. Hartford, Connecticut. Let's see, we got Mark McGrath, Marcus Camby, former NBA player, of course, and Eric LaSalle. So I got to ask you, growing up in Hartford, Connecticut, how was it to grow up there?
Not much going on. Definitely not like LA at all. You have your typical suburban town. You have the school. You drive into the city and do groceries and stuff. And I did a couple plays in live theater and community theater growing up there in Hartford, where they have all the entertainment business. And then I lived in the next town over, which was like a small suburban community. And it was just like your typical quiet time growing up. There wasn't a lot going on there, but LA is a whole different ball game from Connecticut, a whole different ball game. So yeah, it was definitely a change of scenery and a change of just life.
So obviously the weather may be different, right? Because Connecticut more cold, and then California like beautiful every day.
Oh, it snowed. It snowed. And I'm not a fan of the snow. I'm not a fan of the cold. So it's like, I'm good that I left. I'll visit family like in the middle of the summer, not like winter. But yeah, it definitely snowed up there. Sometimes school would close. Sometimes your flights would get grounded. Like, not fun. Wow. I'm just not a snow person. Yeah.
So you went across the United States. You really went from East Coast to West Coast.
Okay. Yes, I definitely did, ma'am. Yeah, I went from the East Coast to the West Coast. It was primarily for school because I went to school in New York City first, and I went for musical theater. So I went to AMDA, American Musical and Dramatic Academy, and they also have a campus in LA. So I transferred to LA, completed my 4 years, got my bachelor's degree in fine arts, and I've just been working in the business ever since.
Wow.
Yeah.
So I got to ask you, what made you want to decide to be an actress and a voice actress? Because that's unique to be both and wanting to do both. How did that become to be a thing for you?
So growing up, you know how your parents kind of like just try you in different things, see what you like, and see what you start out with. My parents tried me in musical theater or in community theater, and I ended up really, really loving it. So I kind of stuck with that and did that in high school. I did show choir, so the singing and dancing. I was in the school plays, the theater department, of course. So basically that's been in my blood ever since. I kind of just got bit by the acting bug, as everyone says. And voiceover was something that people told me I should do all my life. Like, oh, you have a great voice. You should get into voiceover and try it out. So it wasn't until after college, because my college didn't offer those classes. It wasn't until after that I decided to finally get into classes and figure this thing out. And I did that for a year, and that just took off completely. So it's been crazy. I still do auditions for on-camera work every now and then, but voiceover is just like bam, 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 bam. And I'm super grateful for this talent that I didn't know I had until I did classes, and now it's like a big thing. So I'm like, all right, Noveen, go ahead.
See, I think that's amazing. That's dope that you were able to find something, and it's been great for you. Like you hit an industry where it's not many of us in that industry, and I think that's most important as well. So I got to ask you, who are some actresses or even actors that you may have looked up, or maybe even voiceover, people in the past or even present that you looked at and said, I like their style, or you looked at them and you wanted to craft your work sort of in their style and fashion, if you had any?
Well, growing up, it was always Selena Gomez. I've loved Selena Gomez ever since she was on Barney, when she was on the Disney Channel. And anyone who knows me knows I love Disney, everything Disney.
Okay.
So I wanted to be on the Disney Channel. That was definitely my kind of spirit who I was, just energy and just out there. And I wanted to be a part of that. So that definitely made me want to push to getting into more musical theater and some more on-camera stuff. And Selena Gomez was a big part of that. And I'm still a big fan of her to this day. Another person I would say is definitely, there's like a number of them kind of like in a cluster. But for people of color, Zendaya, Lupita Nyong'o, Marsai Martin, just all of those young Black women in the industry who are doing big things up there. And it just makes me so proud. And I know I can get to that point. It's like, okay, if they can do that, I can do that too. And even though I'm like primarily in voiceover right now, they're in the TV and film world. So I'm like, okay, there is a way, there is a path to get to that point. And they're definitely people who I look up to as well. As far as voiceover, I'm still learning about other people in the voiceover industry. But I would say I look up to my peers. One of my friends, Gabe Kunda, he is an African-American voiceover artist, and he is one of those deep voice trailer guys. So if you've ever seen the promos for Luca, Disney's Luca, or like Black Widow that's out right now, like that's him.
Wow.
He also got a part on Call of Duty. I forget which character it was, but that just came out as well. And he is just rocking the game. So I definitely look up to him too. And I think it's great that we're just like paving these paths for people, especially people of color. So yeah.
I love it. I love it. And look, while you're saying that, hey, you want to get there one day, trust me, you are there. You just don't know it. Trust me. You just don't know it. All right. So everybody has a moment where you get your first opportunity to sort of let people see you. And I did a little research. So the Ellen Show.
Yep.
And this energetic person just goes on stage. You had done it before. Can you talk about that moment being on the Ellen Show and how that sort of just, in a way, it may have been like a not so much of a boost, but it got you to a point where maybe that fright that you may have had or something like that goes away?
Yeah, that was definitely not anything that was planned at all on my part, and nothing that I expected at all. That was so surreal. I got tickets to the Ellen Show because they're free, and it took a couple months, years, and she just loved my bubbly personality, my bubbly energy, and I got to play a game with her. And since she loved that so much, she decided to invite me back to the show about a week or so later. And that's when we talked a little bit more about my life. And she had me read stuff on teleprompter, which came in handy because I started voiceover like professionally about a year and a half before that. So I was like, oh my gosh, my voiceover teacher is so proud right now. Look at me reading this on teleprompter. I was so proud of myself. And then like at the end of the show, she had me read teleprompter again, and then I got a car. So there was just so much going on. My brain could not keep up. And if anyone knows Ellen, she loves surprises. So she doesn't tell you ahead of time of what's happening or what's going to happen or what's going on. But it was so surreal. That was insane. So yeah, still hits me to this day sometimes that's happened.
Wow. See, you already got this is a memoir in the making. You have a memoir in the making. You have a memoir. All right. So before we get into that masterpiece that's going to be happening in the summer for us, let's talk about Noveen outside of work, your free time. Do you have any hobbies or what interests you?
I love to paint. So I've always been a very crafty person growing up. I love arts and crafts. And painting is something that I kind of got back into once quarantine started, because everyone was home and we couldn't go outside and do anything anyway. So might as well pick something up or pick something back up. And I got into painting. So I've been painting a lot of Disney stuff, of course, because I love Disney. So there's a lot of just Disney characters and favorite moments in my favorite Disney movies. So that's been fun. I also purchased a Nintendo Switch. So I've been playing games, which has been fun. I really love Mario Kart, so I've been playing that. And I also got Friday the 13th, so I could surprise some fans and play with them too. So that was really fun. But yeah, just a lot of painting, playing games, and getting outside with my boyfriend. We've been going to the beach a lot, and we've just been stuck inside for a year. So it's like you miss the outdoors, you miss outside. And I'm a person who loves the sunshine, who loves the heat. So I was like, yes, let's do this. Wow. Yeah.
Okay. So you mentioned Mario Kart, and the only reason why I'm going to talk about this is because my wife loves that game, and it's very competitive. Now, amongst you and your boyfriend, is this super competitive when y'all play each other? How does that go?
He's not the best at it.
Okay.
He plays Call of Duty and he plays PGA. So those are his like go-to stuff. But he will play Mario Kart with me once in a while. And I have to, put it on the lowest CC, so he can catch up to me.
Oh, wow. Whoa. We'll block this part out so he doesn't see that. Wow. She called you a rookie, man.
Oh my gosh, yeah. But yeah, it's good playing with him. And sometimes I'll play online with everybody, like around the world and stuff, and that's a lot of fun. And those people are way better. Oh my gosh.
Yes.
It's a miracle if I get in first for once because somebody slipped on a shell or something.
I think there's cheating going on in that game online. I do really good versus my wife, and then all of a sudden I get online, it's like I shouldn't have been there. So that's an investigation we may have to have one day about that.
Yes.
So let's get to your first gig in the gaming industry. Did a little research, and ironically, the first game that you're able to work on, if I'm not mistaken, is Red Dead Redemption 2.
Correct.
Okay, so now, important fact about this game. This is probably one of the greatest games in gaming history. I'm pretty sure you've been told that.
Yeah.
And you not only are you a part of this game, you're part of the Rockstar legacy. Red Dead Redemption story. Rest in peace, Arthur, of course. If you haven't played the game, I'm sorry, this is a spoiler for anybody. You should have played this game by now. But can you talk about that moment and the call or whatever you got to be on Red Dead? And did you know how big that game would be?
Well, I wasn't too much into the gaming growing up, and at that time, when I got the call, my agent called me and was like, "Hey, you just booked your very first video game. Congratulations!" I was like, "Oh my gosh, this is great!" And she was like, "So I just want to make sure you're comfortable with what kind of character that you have." And I was like, "Okay, cool. What is it?" She's like, "So you're going to be a whore."
Oh man!
In the game, and I was like, "It's my first game, yes!" So I got the game, which was awesome, and I knew it was Rockstar Games because I had played GTA a few times. I love racing car games, so I was like, "Oh, okay, they do GTA. Okay, I know what that is." I didn't know so much what Red Dead Redemption was. I knew there was a first one, and this was the second one, but honestly, we didn't even know that was the game until it showed up on my IMDb.
Wow.
A lot of games like these that are big, we have to either sign an NDA and we can't say anything about it, or they just put a code name on it and we don't even know what it is until it comes out. So I had no idea what it was, and I booked Friday the 13th. I booked other video games, did other work, time passed on, and then it showed up on my IMDb like 2 years later, and I was like, "Oh, that's what I did. Okay, cool."
Wow.
Yeah, and then when I found out, everyone's like, "Oh my God, you know how huge this is?" I was like, oh, okay, it's huge. Got it. Wow, thank you.
Yeah, huge is an understatement. That game is a legacy game that's going to be played for lifetime. Now, another personal game that I play, and obviously you see it behind me, as you saw earlier, Friday the 13th.
Yep.
Now, you play Vanessa, who, if anybody knows me, when we make these rules before the game, I pick Vanessa. She's fast, she's witty, and I can get out of town. Can you talk about being on Friday the 13th? Because man, it to me is vastly underrated. But I want you to talk about it. Me and Vanessa and everything.
Yeah, voicing Vanessa for Friday the 13th was a lot of fun. I knew what the game was and I knew what she looked like beforehand, so that actually helped a little bit. But we did facial. No, we didn't do facial mocap for her. Yeah, no. But I've done like other games. I'm like mixing them up. But for Friday the 13th, this was different than what I've done for other video games because there was a lot of vocal stress for that. So it's a lot of screaming and crying and choking on your own blood. And I was like, I did not learn this in voiceover class. What the heck? But that's when it came to the point where we had to record it over a couple months and kind of space it out because too much vocal stress on the chords is not good. So I I would drink a lot of tea. I would eat a ton of cough drops. We'd have a lot of water. We'd take multiple breaks in between sessions. So that one was a tough one to kind of just like trudge through, but I'm very happy that I did it. Everyone was super friendly when I worked with them. I got to meet the other cast members later on, the whole release party, and I got to meet Kane Hodder, which is great, who is the Jason Voorhees, which was so awesome. So I never expected the game to be as big as it became. I mean, because when you record video games, you don't really know the outcome. You hope it does well, but it's how people perceive it and how they enjoy playing the game. And it was a success and people loved it. And I gained a lot of fans from that, which I was not expecting. That was like all new for me. I was like, oh, hello, everyone. Thanks for playing the game. This is great. But yeah, it was a lot of fun. And I think I would say that was my first big successful video game that kind of just like skyrocketed me up there. So yeah.
Wow. And I'll say this, as a person who doesn't particularly like to play scary games, for some odd reason, I love Friday 13th. and that should tell you everything. So have you ever been out in public and somebody recognizes your voice from any of these games? Because I think that would be pretty interesting too, if that ever, has that ever happened to you? It's happened once.
At my old job, I actually was a tour guide at a theater, and I was taking in the next group, and it happened to just be him and his mom. There wasn't many people that day for tours, and right off the bat, when I was talking, he was like, wait a minute, didn't you voice the MTV Video Music Awards? I was like, yeah. And weren't you on Ellen as well? Yeah. And I'm like, wow, how did you know that you were going to get me? Are you like psychic? Like, he just knew everything. And I was like, wow. And he was trying to get into voiceover, but he has a really good ear, and he definitely recognized me and my voice. And the whole tour, I was just like, how did you know that? Which was so crazy. I had a little boy in Disney World in Florida recognize me from Ellen, like a little boy. He was like, Mom, she was on Ellen. She was on Ellen. Like, he's screaming it, and everyone's like, what? And I'm like, oh my gosh. Hello, thank you. Hello. I was like, this is crazy. I'm so not used to this. But a little bit more now, mainly people will recognize it online when they play other games and like, why does that sound familiar? Then they'll find out later, oh, she did voice that, so she's voicing this. But not so much in public. Not so much right now. Not since after Ellen, but yeah. You could play a real good prank on people. You know that if you just join like an Xbox Live or PlayStation party and somebody's playing Friday 13th and you put the voice on, they'll probably think like the game is, you call them by their name. You can scare some people. That is such a good idea. I think we should do that. We should do that one day. I would get my friends. I'm so down for that. Yeah, I will get my friends involved, and I think that would be hilarious because they probably will freak out. They don't even know how to act. Everybody's all schizophrenic anyway on the game. So yeah, everybody's already paranoid as it is. Oh my gosh, yes, that sounds like a plan. Let's do it. All right, perfect. So now we got to talk about this. Mm-hmm. So summer 2022, we got something special coming, and it's going to be for the Xbox exclusive. Hey. For the Xbox, you see it behind me, the Xbox Series S and the S, of course. Redfall. Yep. Arcane Studios, Bethesda. That's, the funniest thing ever was this. I watched the whole conference, right? And they dropped the banger on us. I see this game called Redfall. And the first thing I noticed is this lady behind me, Layla Ellison. Yep. Now, I got to ask you off the bat, being a Black woman, how does that feel to be, I would say, the lead protagonist in this game? Mm-hmm. As a Black woman, how does that feel for you? It's pretty surreal, mainly because she looks like what we look like. Wow. That is what we look like. The details in the hair, the hoops, the nose, like that is what we look like. It's not just, just like the stereotypical, just give her a face and just give her like a slick ponytail or straight hair or something like that. Like that's not our natural style. That's not what we look like. Not that I'm saying that's not good or anything, but this is us. This is what we look like. And I love that. And even her style in the game, I was like, okay, Arcane. Come on, Bethesda. Yes, this is what we're doing. And I love that. I just love hearing and seeing what fans are writing about that. And they're just so it's just like overwhelmed with happiness, and like it's just a great feeling. It's such a great feeling, and I'm so excited for the game to come out, honestly.
Yeah, and when you talk about the look, I think when I did my reaction video, I was just more ecstatic because it just seems like it was like a cousin that I knew, or just the first thing I noticed was the natural hair, and I love that. Like you said, in video games, the history of video games, when it comes to black characters, the hair doesn't really look right or whatever. But this game, even from her, just the attitude, the different things, she was just too cool. And I think, man, it's amazing. I love it. I love it.
Yes, I love Layla. Come on, girl.
So when you got presented this opportunity, what did you think? Because you probably thought maybe at first it was just going to be a thing where it's like, hey, I'm just going to be another character in the game, but not realizing you are going to be the main person for this game. How does that feel for you? And how did that moment feel for you to realize what it was going to actually be?
You know, when you first are recording it and then you see the scripts and you see the audition and all of that, you're like, okay, this seems like a cool game. It's going to be great. And then once it comes out and the hype and perception that people got from it, I was like, wow, all right, this is the start. We are getting somewhere with this. And that makes me really happy and humbled and grateful that I get the opportunity to voice her and to put her out there and to share her with everyone. And like, this is what we look like. This is who we are. This is how we act. Like, it's just, I'm so honored. I'm so honored. And I love the kind of person that they made her out to be. Her personality and her style and what she looks like. I love it. I'm just 100% for everything. Yeah.
Now, I know you say you weren't into video games that much, but knowing about Bethesda and certain things, how was it to work for that studio, Arcane and Bethesda? How was it to be able to find out when you found out about the studios and, of course, the big deal that Microsoft did merge with them? How did you feel about that? Because Bethesda's a big deal. Oh, it's a really big deal.
Yeah, that's what I'm starting to find out. I'm blown away because I'm doing all these video games not knowing how big they are because I'm not a big video game person. I knew a little bit about Rockstar before, and then just all these other video game companies that I'm working with. I'm like, oh my gosh, how do I keep getting so lucky? I have no idea, but it's been so great, and I'm so like lucky to be chosen by them, and they hear my audition and they love it and they want to work with me. Like, I'm super honored that I get to do that and be a part of their video games and be a part of that legacy, which is so awesome. Yeah.
So, you know, from a legacy standpoint, now that you speak of it, seeing that you're seeing, you know, what I love about this the most is that I'm starting to see Black women embrace this Layla Ellison character. Mm-hmm. And I think that's, to me, the most important thing, because it gives an opportunity for the younger Black girls that are gamers now to have somebody they can relate to. When you see videos, reaction videos everywhere, and you see the women, the ladies, the kids, the girls, what do you think about that? Because that's you. It's really you.
Yeah. It's good to see younger people, especially younger people of color, looking up to her. And it's like, mommy, that is what we look like. And it's just someone that they can look to and just like emulate, which is so great. And all of this, honestly, is just so surreal. I just can't believe that I have the opportunity to voice her. And I can't wait to share her with everyone next summer and see what she can do. And this is how she is and everything like that. But it's really great.
So I got to ask you, so next summer, then you have Halloween. I got to ask you, are you going to do some sort of like maybe a cosplay, maybe dress up as Layla for Halloween? Because that would be perfect. That would be perfect.
Yeah, that would be dope. I know a lot of people on Twitter that I've seen have already started cosplaying her and are like, I'm going to be doing it for Halloween, or whenever the next like convention is, video game convention, they're going to be cosplaying as her. And I'm like, maybe I should just cosplay one day and just kind of show up and not really tell people. And then they figure out later or something like that. But I think that would be awesome. The only difference between Layla and I is like she's 6 feet something. I'm 5'1". So there's a huge cutoff right there. But everything else, basically the same.
I love it. I love it. So obviously that means one other thing. When this game comes out, are you going to be streaming this game and playing as your character, or possibly jumping into like random rooms with others and being like, hey, it's me, and everybody goes crazy?
I do plan to do that. I downloaded Twitch and Discord, so I'm learning how to use those for when the game comes out. But I've done that with Friday the 13th, so I definitely plan on doing that with Redfall. Maybe I'll announce it so people can know who to look out for, and it's not like some other person just pretending to be me, because apparently that's already happened with Vanessa, and I'm like, I don't even own an Xbox, so no, that's not me. But yeah, I'll definitely do that. I think that'll be a lot of fun. I love surprising them.
All right. I love it. So, we've talked about your accomplishments and things that you've done. Look, you have an amazing resume. Don't sell yourself short on that, because I'm amazed right now. You're a part of history, and you're going to be a part of history forever. So, what's next? I mean, obviously, this is still this hasn't even launched yet. So this is trust me, you're going to be busy in the next summer. I'm just letting you know that right now. I'm glad I got you now, but what's next? What's next for you?
Well, I do have another video game that's coming out, not quite out yet. I can't say the name of it, but we did full mocap for it, so I'll tell you that at least. That could take a few years to come out, knowing this video game, so maybe it'll just show up on my IMDb. I'll wait for that. But I actually got booked, believe it or not, yesterday from that same company to do another video game for them, full mocap again. Again, I don't know what it is. It's a code name, so we'll see again when it comes out on my IMDb. So I got 2 coming out for you guys. And I also have an Instagram/YouTube series that I'm coming out with. It'll be coming out in January 2022. And it's called So You Think You Can Talk. And basically it's like a mini series based on my experience with voiceover. So anything that people have wondered or want to know, or questions about voiceover or how to get into it and the details about it. I'm just going to basically be covering anything you need to know and want to know about voiceover, all based on my experiences. And I hope that can help other people who are looking to get into voiceover and don't quite know where to start and stuff like that. So I'm excited for that to come out. Yeah.
Oh my God! So you're packed. You're booked. So that's so we know now you're booked, and that's amazing. And on behalf of the C Hendo family, we appreciate you for coming on, today and doing this with us. And it's an honor because look, I told you before, I've interviewed tons of athletes, entertainers, etc. I've never had an opportunity to interview someone actually a part of a video game.
Yeah,
that's an actual voice actor, not an athlete, but a voice actress, and this is amazing to me. This is fun. Yeah. So, can you tell everyone when they can find you on social media, if you don't mind?
So you guys can find me at Noveen Crumbie. It's just my name to make it easy. I'm on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. You guys can feel free to tweet me or send me a message. I'll respond to them as best as I can, and yeah. I'm on social media, so go ahead and find me. I am on Twitch and Discord, still figuring that out. It's under Queen Noveen, so once I figure that out, I'll be able to share that.
All right, everyone. So I need you to, all my fans and friends, and of course, everyone that's watching this, please subscribe to her, support her, man. This is our queen. This is our gaming queen. She's us, and this is amazing. Layla's in the flesh. This is crazy. This is crazy. Vanessa's in the flesh. This is crazy. This is amazing. Everything, So once again, Noveen, I do appreciate you for coming on, and we're gonna close this out. And as I tell everyone, we're always working, and we're out.